Welcome to the Fortinus Events podcast series where we engage in dynamic conversations with pioneers, experts, and change makers driving progress across industries. In each episode, we explore how cutting edge innovations, strategic approaches, and emerging trends are reshaping the future of businesses. Our goal is to offer fresh insights into the evolving challenges and opportunities that professionals face. I'm your host, Mitra. In today's episode, we will explore building smarter futures, ECO's innovations in infrastructure and sustainability with Rahul Khanna, Chief Sales Officer at ECO. Yep,
Yeah,
you bring over 30 years of experience in sales and business development across industries from telecom, airlines to media and infrastructure. In this episode, we'll dive into ECO's latest innovations and how they're tackling challenges like flood proofing and smart mobility, and what drive your vision for a smarter and more sustainable future. So, would you like to just give us a rough overview of what you do and the impact you make in the industry with Eco?
okay. Thank you so much. I have been working in eco, just a background. I've been working in eco for close to 10 years now. And basically, I'm responsible for, when I started, I was responsible for a road safety division, which is your standard, products to ensure that, accidents, fatalities are reduced on the roads. That was 10 years back. And over the period of these 10 years, last 5 years or 4 years, we have seen a lot of change in the behavior and also the requirements which are coming up, in the market. Technologies are changing. So with all this AI happening and all that, so there are a lot of changes happening, and it's important for us to keep up with the change and be in the forefront.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. So let's get started. Let's start with the big picture view. Over the past year, ECO has been working on several exciting initiatives. Can you discuss any standout project or achievement from the past year?
Yeah, sure. Besides normal road safety, like I mentioned, I remember around couple of years back, when the flooding happened, which was unheard of in our region, almost unheard. And there was one of the biggest government hospitals in the UAE, which out of the blue, we got a call because we know the, clients remain the same. And they had a major issue of flooding in the hospital, where not only did they lose millions of dirhams of worth of equipment, but more than that, it was the reputation. Imagine a hospital where they had to remove the patients,
Yeah.
in the critical
Mm-hmm.
care.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked us that, what is how we can prevent it. And so I asked them, what is the pain area or what is the issue? So they told us that, we are looking for a solution which would prevent flooding, but the key thing which they mentioned to me was that the solution should not be dependent on electricity, because during flooding, electricity may not be available. And second, they said it
Yeah.
should not be dependent on manpower, because during heavy rains, you may not have the people required to deploy the solution. So that was a very unique requirement. It was a very clear requirement. So we took it as a challenge, and we looked for these solutions where no electricity, no manpower. And finally, we found a gate, which are passive gates, which operate without electricity and manpower and get deployed just on water buoyancy. So we installed
Wow.
this gate, I think, close to around 2 years back. And since then, flooding has happened. We have videos, flooding has happened. And each time the gate has been deployed very successfully,
Mm-hmm.
and the client was really happy with that. And they even sent the videos themselves. They were so happy that, in the last time when it rained heavily, the flooding did not happen. So that is, and
Mm-hmm.
then after that, just with the word of mouth, we got some more inquiries and orders. So we're deploying
Mm-hmm.
at least another 4, 5 gates for critical installations. So we're doing that. That is for flooding.
Okay. Wow. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. That was really inspiring. Now, innovation seems to be at the core of ECO's work. What recent innovations has ECO introduced in environmental solutions?
See, environmental solutions, was never, honestly, we at Eco also didn't take it, because we were dealing with hardware, but we understood
I
that the
see.
market was changing and the
Mm-hmm.
requirement was changing. So I
Mm-hmm.
remember when Etihad Rail was announced, a few
Mm-hmm.
years back, and because we travel a lot and, we noticed that all over the world, especially in Europe and all the developed countries, noise is considered as a major pollution. And
Yeah.
even UN has described that it can be very harmful if it is above a certain decibel level.
Mm-hmm.
So when Etihad Rail was launched, we had approached Etihad Rail at that point of time that every time a train, a cargo train or a passenger train, whatever may be the case, at those
Mm-hmm.
high speeds is passing through residential or commercial areas, we need to ensure that people living there are, one, health wise not impacted.
Yes.
Second, also imagine if your house is on nearby, your real estate value can also go down, because why
Mm-hmm.
would anybody want to rent a house where you have a train passing
Yeah.
by or heavy traffic and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So this keeping in mind, I am very pleased to say that Etihad Rail took noise as a really major pollution, and they gave us the order, and we installed for all the packages of Etihad Rail noise barriers for the first time to be used in UAE. And since then, I heard that even Dubai Metro and other people also taking noise as a major pollution. So they want to ensure that
Mm-hmm.
people, real estate companies.
Mm-hmm.
So we are working with the authorities. Hopefully, they'll spread this message that noise can be a major pollution.
Thank you so much for sharing. That was really, really insightful. Now, on to our final question. Mobility is a big challenge in growing cities. How is eco contributing to addressing issues related to smart mobility?
See, smart mobility, while it's a very big project because you have, driverless taxis and flying, it's a very big project. But what we noticed is that if you would know yourself that in the last few years, there is a lot of stress on cycling and e-scooters.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've seen in the last 3 years and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So cycling and e-scooters is basically, when they started, it was more like a last mile connectivity, from metro station to either my residence, or maybe if I'm working close by, that 1 kilometer in this heat, it's not easy to walk. So they
Mm-hmm.
started with that. So now today I see even in Abu Dhabi and Dubai, there are a lot of projects which are related to cycling, and, cycle tracks
Yeah.
coming up everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And also the intention is that, they want people, because UAE unfortunately has a very high diabetic and obesity rate. So they want to encourage, the authorities want to encourage people to, stay healthy and, walk or
Yeah.
cycle or use e-scooters. So
Mm-hmm.
we got into that field around a couple of years back, and RTA was very, very, encouraging. And we introduced something called, counters, real-time counters, which we have
Mm-hmm.
installed, for example, on Jumeirah Beach and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is the authorities and even the public know exactly how many cyclists are today on the track, how many e-scooters are there. Even the authorities know that, for example, at a metro station, how many
Yeah.
people are coming by a cycle or a e-scooter by a car, because that helps them to, design the nearby area. Shall we have more parking space
Mm-hmm.
for cyclists, or
Mm-hmm.
do we need more pedestrian path? So they have started doing this counting,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which helps them to plan better, uh, the facilities around. So these counters are already installed, and we're installing another 20, 30 counters, to monitor the traffic and the
Mm-hmm.
nature of
Mm-hmm.
traffic.
Mm-hmm.
So that is pertaining to smart mobility.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. That's such a good point there, and we appreciate you for letting us know and sharing that point. All right. So, Rahul, this has been such an insightful conversation, and thank you to our listeners for tuning in into Fortinus Events Global Podcast Series. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for more conversations with leaders shaping the future of infrastructure and sustainability. See you at the summit. Thank you.
Thank you
Bye
so much.
bye.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thanks.